is just so happy now. Look at all the new leaves. Like this one is a new one, and then this one is a new one, and this one is a new one, this one, and this too, and they're all new. And I thought, like, when I got the palm, I kind of thought that, like, I soon realized that I'm not sure how to care for this little friend or big friend, and like so many leaves like completely dried out, like, but not just a part but completely. But then I realized, let's water more because this is a big pot, so I can water my, I think I'm gonna water now. And like, I love it when plants where you think that they just, yeah, you're just gonna keep them as long as you possibly can, and when then they turn out to be like one of your happiest plants, like, I'm so happy. So I was not speaking very clearly and loudly, so I'm doing a voiceover here. So this is my Calathea next to my bed, and this plant is growing a bit unevenly towards the light, but this plant is doing so much better now, as I, like, before we had a bit of root rot, and then I was afraid to water too much, and then leaves curled all a lot, and I'm showing you here a leaf which has been curled a lot due to lack of water, and I also need to remove those leaves, but yeah, doing so much better now. This plant, friend, has been growing so much. I feel like this is the plant, especially the Golden Pathos of mine, that grows the most balanced and grows so fast. Like, look. And here, this is our newest leaf. And like, this is a strand, and then this here is a strand, and then also one that goes all around here is a strand. And so, and I think here what is happening is a new strand is happening. So I really like that, because as I have sun from like this direction, plants tend to, as you have seen in the clip before, just grow very unbalanced. So I'm very proud of you. There's not so much variegation in here, but I don't mind at all. My marble queen. Okay, this is a good example of a plant that grows a little bit unbalanced. I tried to turn them around a bit, but I also don't want them to be too bothered by that. And if they want to grow here, and it will be a bit easier when this like actually gets to fall down a bit. But the leaves are so beautiful. This is like a, I don't know what it's called, but this here would be like, I think it's called half moon, when really one half is completely, I wanted to say blue, green. And then we have this leaf. Yeah, I'm just gonna show you some leaves. This is so beautiful. Look at this. It's art. Okay, this plant friend wants water, so I'm gonna give them some water and hopefully not spill anything. Yeah, I spilled something. Okay, now this is one of my many Pileas. I don't know. I'm gonna say Pilea or pancake plant, and like, they're all growing, sorry about that. They're also all growing very unbalanced, and so they lost all these leaves. But by the sun, yeah, and I don't know if this plant is super happy, because like we have some thingies that could be of heat stress, because my apartment gets very warm when there is sun, which will be in like after I recorded some of my clips, because then I will go outside to like escape the heat in here. Yeah, and I painted this pot, and I thought it's better to not paint it inside, but well, it could have been okay to paint a little bit down here. Yeah, this is one of my mini Pileas. Here we have two more of my mini Pileas. This one is from my big one, which I will show you later. Like, it was a little baby Pilea, and then I repotted them, and I think they're doing fairly well. Of course, they're again very unbalanced, but the thing is, if you turn around Pileas, they're just gonna lose all the leaves. Like, if I turn it the other way around, all these leaves will fall off. So yeah, and this one is doing a drastic reach to the sun. And this is actually a cup that broke, but I didn't want to throw it away, and so now it's a plant pot. Okay, this, and these are Scindapsus pictus. There are so many different varieties of them, and I could not exactly say which one it is, and also I can't pronounce the name that I think it is. Something with R. But anyway, I got one Scindapsus pictus on like a huge moss pole, and I will show you my biggest of them because I propagated all of them. I didn't want to have the moss pole, and that's why I have several of them now. This one is doing okay-ish. This one is doing better, but I will show you later the ones that are doing really, really well. But yeah, and these little thingies are for the fungus gnats. Yeah, we're trying to contain them. Let me get out this plant here. This is a Calathea. I don't know any other name. And as you can see, all of these thingies were leaves I had to cut off because they were not doing well. And I thought, like, okay, this plant is not gonna make it. And now all these leaves are new, and this is the newest of the new leaves, and they're so pretty. I dusted them not too long ago, but this is like on the ground where most of the dust collects here. Anyway, when there's spring, I want to repot this in a smaller pot, and also that it kind of looks nicer. But I'm very, very happy with this plant. So these are drawings that would be visible from the other side, and this is the humidity and the temperature thingy are calculated here. Not calculated, but measured. Yeah. This is a little propagation, and I don't really know what's happening, but look at this little one. I think this is a fishbone cactus. I'm not doing well with cacti. Just, yeah. And this is a CZ plant. This was a propagation too, and like, it looks really, really pretty. Like, they look really, really pretty in this pot. But they're not growing. They're doing well, but they're not getting any new growth. So I guess I potted them too early. But I had them in this pot for like over a year. This is my very first plant, my very first big house plant. Before that I only had succulents and and cacti. And I propagated so much of this plant. Like, I got them at the IKEA, and yeah, I also had to cut something off, and no, there will be, I will show other parts of my propagation. I also gave some away because this plant is growing very fast. I'm not sure if they're super happy here, but I don't have any other spot, and there's literally nothing else in this corner. And my apartment is very small. I dusted, which doesn't show because there is still dust. I will make a new clip now. Okay, I'm also not super sure why this leaf is doing that. But I think this plant wants to grow up there. And I find this very funny, because if there's light, then it's gonna reflect off here. And this leaf literally turned around. But when there's even late afternoon sun, then it looks like little heart shapes are on my wall. Maybe I will record that later. Yeah, so this is all propagated from this monstera. Also, many leaves had to leave. No, that was not intended. And this is a new leaf, and this is what my monstera often does. Like, the leaves usually just flop until they kind of get back up. And yeah, I'm not sure if I need to cut some leaves, if I need to water it more. It's just up there. So yeah, this kind of makes my room, well, it's a room, but it's also an apartment. Hi. Look way taller, higher. It makes it more spacious because, yeah, just... Okay, so this here are two of my golden pathos, and all the ones that come out of the red pot are propagations, because also the one in the white pot, the plant got so long that they reached down to the floor, and that was just too long, and I had the issue with, like, I cut from every golden pathos that I have to like make a new plant, and I think it looks really, really nice here. Like, I really like that. Update! Oh my god, there is a new leaf coming out of here. That means that a new strand is happening. I'm so happy. Collected myself. This is one of my two fiddle leaf figs. Here's one, and there's the other one. And maybe let me see. Oops. Okay, this plant is really doing well. So many new leaves. This is a very slow growing plant for me, but just recently I got all these new leaves, probably also because I'm watering the plant more. Let's see if I need to water again actually now. Yeah, let's water again. Boop, 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 boop. Like, I don't have a watering schedule. I try to just look at... I missed all of the other water. I just try to look at what plants look like they need water. One of my other Pileas, and I put it into a mug by Worry Lines because it looks cute. And I just wanted to fill it up here. This used to be for all my dishes, as you can see, but I don't use any of them. That was when I still thought well, when I had some misconceptions about my style of interacting with people. And now I also put some of my art supplies here that I'm not using all the time. Like, I picked some of the colors I want. And as you can see, I'm using all my dishes now for other stuff. I'm repurposing. And also this is a sticker from the sun, from Megamiko Art on Etsy and also on Instagram, and this is actually a sticker, but I framed it. I'm recording this because yesterday I could not transfer my file to my phone, which is where I edit my videos. This is a plant I got at this height, and now prepare. The majesty, so pretty. And this plant just got a thicker stem and then stopped growing, and I didn't know why, but turns out they wanted me to just cut off all the leaves here so they could reinvest here, and they did this with their roots, and there's a new leaf coming, and this is a new leaf, and this is a new leaf, and this is a new one, and here's a new one coming. And I also like helped them with little yarn bows thingies, supports, and this here, it will be very difficult shall I ever move this plant, because this plant is attached to my shelf. This is my big Pilea, and they're stretching towards the sun a lot. And these used to be leaves. And this is one of the little ones that I just kept in here because I thought maybe this plant could look fuller. It's doing well. This leaf, for example, is how it should be, completely flat. I don't know why. Like, plant is growing, Not doing super well, but we're growing. And I try my best. I think it could be better, but I think a lot is also from heat stress and I can't do anything about that. Oh yeah, another pot of my monstera in water. I'm gonna keep them there, all the roots growing. Just there to like fill up the room again, because I had another plant here which did not make it. It was some sort of mix of cactus and succulents, which is exactly what I can't do. This is an Alikazi Sabrina. I had a second small one. They somehow didn't make it. They're doing way better here. Like they're not growing, but they're also not dying. And this plant is one, when it gets a leaf, it loses a leaf. So, and yeah, plant. I'm not good with snake plants. All of these are cut off and in water now because I realized that's what I can do. Because I just don't get plants that need less watering. So all the easy plants are what I struggle with, and all the difficult and tricky plants to figure out are those which are thriving here. So, well, 2 Pileas, I put them here because they're so small. They really suffer if they get too dried out. And this one's kind of high. And this one is reaching. I will give them water again. This is a monstera leaf that looks like it's not doing too well. It's in water here. And this here is a teardrop plant, and I actually got the whole plant from just one leaf of my old plant fell off, and I just propagated it, and all the little plantlets and leaflets grew, and then now this is what I have. It's also a bit one-sided, and I don't know what these spots mean, but the new leaf is growing. And this is the other one that is doing astronomically better now that I have them here in the kitchen. And this is also a teardrop plant. A little plant propagation from my friend. I think it's from a jade plant. And this is just an aquatic plant now. Here we have my rubber tree, which looks so much happier and fuller from the side, which I never ever see because I see my kitchen like this. And this plant is growing so many aerial roots, and then a friend of mine said that they're she's putting roots in water, and I did that, and now the roots are growing, and now I have a new leaf coming, and a tiny new leaf in preparation, so that's great. I have the variegated form of my rubber tree, which is doing it. This plant is just existing. One of the plants that just exist. But a new leaf is coming, so maybe it's doing better. Attached to this here. 1 and 2 more of my little Pileas growing a little less than little. Or more than little. And heat stress, but this is some more balanced Pilea. But then also heat stress, as you can see here. But yeah, Hoya living in water, which like I can only keep them alive in water. Everything else is not here anymore, and I should probably put in more water at one point. And also because these plants are in the kitchen, I kind of feel like I need, like there's some stuff on the leaves that I would love to get rid of, but I don't know how. This is my umbrella plant. My umbrella plant grew so big, and there's a second new leaf. I just saw that one, but there's a second one, and they're like, will it focus? Probably never. Like they're like little hands. I need to show this to my friend immediately after I stop this clip. This plant used to be only this tall. Oh god, you can't see it. and I would love to support them, but I don't have a big stick, so they're just chilling here. Okay, this is my other marble queen, and we're here on my bookshelf. And it was, all my marble queens were like one plant, but I divided them to make more space and also to have more plants. And this one is growing so long, and I think they might want water. And they have more greenish leaves here, and then they get more variegated, or like more whitish here. So yeah, and this is a big leaf. This is almost a half leaf. And this is my Neon Pathos. I recently turned this plant around because this was at the back, but I thought, okay, if you want to trail, you can trail. This plant also kind of grew around themselves. So, and oh yeah, this leaf. There's kind of variegation. If this variegation was taking up more space, would it then be a philodendron Brazil? No, wait, this is a Pathos. Well, anyway, there's variegation. I'm so surprised. I didn't know that happens. And we also have like a little bit of whitish variegation. And yeah, I really love also the color contrast between the rose and my neon green. And this is the other smaller Cactus pictus, which is, I think, starting to trail. This plant is doing so much better now that I have removed some of the plants so that they have more space. And this is the big one. Like, I feel like they need some more water. I gotta give some water soon. Oh, okay. They're long, and like, they are even longer because they are just sitting around here. So actually all this is like, this plant would be very even longer. So this is this plant in the compact form. And yes, I'm just so glad that they're doing so well. Like, they love it here and they have so many new leaves, and they're just, wow, huge. Here I have a small, this was propagated from my heartleaf philodendron, which used to be here, but I will get to that in a second. And they're getting so many tiny leaves. But I gotta water this plant a lot because the radiator is close by. And this is also part of what used to be in the kitchen of my pothos. And now it's here because I propagated it in the kitchen, but because this plant was growing to the sun, I kind of spilled it twice. So I thought, new spot for you. And this plant is finally getting like a complete new strand, and I really want to make sure, because the radiator is here, that these leaves stay okay. But I'm just so happy about this. There are like even 2 strands, and I'm just like, that's invested. And like all of the sun, I'm sorry. But there are still 2 leaves on the outside. All these fell off, and they're very dryish, and they're long. Here is where I cut the plant. Yeah, and here is where they're growing really well and loving it. And now that we have this looks so cool. And here is also the other one. All of these kind of also died. Here is where I cut again, and here is where they're growing again. this is what happened a lot, that a new leaf kind of dried out. I don't know why that happens, to be honest. Maybe I need to water more. This plant that I will discuss is, or introduce, is my big hardleaf philodendron, which is big. And here are all the small new leaves. They're getting more longish, I feel like. Oh no, I think that this is also... Well, anyway, this plant is here because I had root rot twice already, and I feel like this is the plant I need to keep close by. And they're doing really well. Like, my kitchen is the most humid and brightest space in my apartment, even though everything is kind of bright. And here's where I always see my plants, and yeah. So as you can see, I have many plants. Many plants. I will not show the kitchen because it's very overstimulating, all this light. And this is what my bookshelf looks like. This is what I still wanted to show you. I hope it's okay with the sunlight, but this really looks like a little heart. A little monstera heart. And this is the leaf that turned around to get the brightness of the wall, I guess. And